Going to be adding a expansion tank on the external side of this boiler up here on the Spirovent Junior on the air elimination device, because the expansion tank inside the Wiesmann boiler has failed, the factory one. The internal expansion tank, you have to get it from the factory. It's hard to get and it's expensive, and it's just like, hey, why bother keep replacing that when you could just add one on the external pipe and be good to go and eliminate the issue. And then if it fails again, you have that one on the truck. So we typically always carry the EX30. So the plan is to put the expansion tank right here with 2 brackets and mount it there. There's not a lot of room against the wall to put that tank. I'd have to put a nipple down, an elbow, and have to come out and sit out this way. I don't really want to put the stress on that device. I'd rather just mount it there and then pipe up to it. I'm gonna make my own bracket with the angle iron and the straps. All right, so the bracket's on. I used a couple pieces of angle perforated iron there. And there's the expansion tank. Here's the clips. That's basically what that looks like. Top, bottom strap, top strap, just large hose clamps. I had to use 2 6-inch hose clamps, I believe they were. And I lined up the tank. I put the tank up here and I marked whereabouts I wanted each one of these, and then I put them through those vertical slots, as you can see right there. Made 2 marks at the proper distance. One thing I also did was notched the angle out, the iron out, just because you have the weld on the tank and you want the weld to sit within there. You don't want the weld getting cut and being pressed up against the inside here. And I got all this from the local hardware store. Cool, so that's the tank mounted with the 2 bands holding it on. I tried to keep it out of the way from anything else that I have to work on around it. But then I put, like I said, the weld that's on this right here, you don't want that squished up against, so that's why I notched that out back there. If you can see it back there, just kind of created an area for it to glide through, so it's not touched. Boy, here we go. Woo! That was intense. Nope, that's because I isolated everything. I didn't drain anything, I just isolated everything. Surprised it wasn't more pressure than that. I really thought that was gonna go pop. The union there, I do not have an isolation valve. I'm not worried about that on this one. I can definitely shut off the valves at the circs and the incoming water and just lower the pressure and break that union and let the water drain down a little bit. And you can replace that tank pretty easy. Another reason not to put those up there when they're at an angle, because it can't go directly underneath it, is the fact that when it floods, it's going to be very heavy, and that could damage that Spirovent if it's off 6 inches offset. Anyway, so that's that, guys. It's one method of putting in an external expansion tank.